Yeah, well, Prof here, and we've got a couple boxes. This is the first one. Been here for a couple days. Should open it up on the weekend for you. We got Paisley Pace, taking a little sleepy sleep right there. Hey, Paisley. Paisley Marie. What are you doing? Yeah? Am I disturbing your sleep? Okay. Alright, below here, hooked up, we got another CD ripping for 9 miles. That's the reggae band from the lead guitarist of the Pillows. So, there you go. This is first album in 15 years, right there. It looks like a re-recording of 4 of them with the new artist he's working with for vocals instead of himself. And then one new track with him. And I also have the paired album where he was on the vocalist's album that came out at the same time. So we're gonna crack this open though. And you're like, what is this? Normally we don't have packages like this. Correct. And that's why I don't normally use the pull tab. You're gonna be like that pull tab, why be there? Right? Some of you might be seeing what it is. Tactile turn. Vice. Not only one. I thought they'd have 2 different boxes. They don't. They have 2 of the same boxes. And you're like, Prof, why do you have 2 of the same pen? I don't. There's a reason why that it's got... I do have 2 shades, though. Not that I can wear them because I need prescription, so I'll probably give them to some of the guys at work. You know, chuck this out real quick. So I'm not going to open up either of those because I'm probably going to give them to some of the guys at work if they're interested in them. They're just like those cheap, it's like 80s style sunglasses to go with the Vice theme. Vice. Yes, like Miami Vice. And there is a night and a day variant. So if we flip these over, you know, this is why I used to have a skin. Before I warrantied my razor blade Stealth, I had a skin on it. Now that it's not my main laptop, I mean, maybe I'll use a generic piece of vinyl instead of like a D-brand skin. But Vice Day, Vice Night. So the first one I saw, I believe, was Night. So we're going to go with that first. I did get Mooskie's comments on these. He's not too much into this season, the Vice ones. He thinks they're too busy. What I'm happy about, though, is they went back to their roots. And what do I mean by that? Well, take a look here. This is a standard. It only comes in standard thickness, not slim. Side click, not a bolt. And I feel like this is the one, like this is, if you're getting a tactile turn pen, not that their bolts are bad, they have a lot of really cool material options, but if you just want like a titanium one from them, which is that's their go-to material, that's what they're known for. The side click is the one to get. So it's got like a paint splatter on the bottom with the kind of fade clip there. And personally, like, because you know what they're basing this off of is like nightlife style stuff. Let me know what you guys think. I thought the little palm tree at the bottom looked, especially with the corners being exposed like that, was very close to how like club stamps are. If you guys know what I mean by that. Um, and because this is the night one, I'll show you the day is not like that. But you got the black with the kind of like pink purple splatter with the pink to purple fade. Here, let's switch back with pink to purple fade with orange accents and blue clicks. So yeah, it's kind of busy. That I know for a lot of people that's gonna dig. I actually thought I liked the day more though. I don't know why, but I like that one. So here's another thing. The night is if you like a nice matte pen, the night is very matte, very grippy. Like this is even like satin. This is matte Cerakote for sure. It's got a nice action that doesn't sink in. And you're like, what do you mean by doesn't sink in? On the slim side click, I don't know what the dimensions are. They do fit refills better without cutting them down, so the dimensions inside must be a little bit different. But the slim ones click in, like this clicks into the body rather than this basically stops when it's flush. Now I will say, at least on mine, and this may or not be for yours, I don't know if you can see it in the image here, the seam here, which was imperceptible on the night one. Like, where's that seam? Right, where's that seam? Is very, and that's one, they usually do a really good job on it, so I'm surprised that the seam on this, and maybe it's because it's the lighter color, or the Cerakote they used. I mean, it's on there good. So the standard thickness side clicks really need, it kind of blends in once you get used to it. It's just the seam's definitely there. Really need that stronger spring that Tactile Turn ships with their pens, even their slim pens. Whereas the slim pens, I tend to swap it out for a G2 spring. Harvest that from the G2 pens. I don't know. I think this is a more balanced pen personally. Now I think we could, instead of the white. Now I understand why I went white to go with the blue here. I would almost been fine with because here that looks like a reasonable pen. I think that's what Mooskie's getting on about. Is that looks like a reasonable pen? The light blue, the white, the pink. But then when you add the what is it, tan into there to go with the light blue, right? But then if you go like that, that looks good too. If you remove the white, that looks good too, right? With the tan, light blue, pink. I just don't know, and I agree on this one. Like, I thought I liked the day better. In person, I think I like the night better. I know, I feel like the colors on the night also work a little bit better. It's like I said, go like this, looks great. Or go like this, looks great. My opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments there. Oh, this thing feels so solid though too. Not as solid as the night one, but yeah, this one's just a little softer. I think in person this one looks better. There's less clashing. Like, because this is like a fade from this pink to purple. Yeah, I think the night one works better in person. I thought I was gonna like the day, like when I was seeing online here. But yeah, it's and I don't know if that clip would work in this tan, not peach. And I was saying that this was more of a like a gloss. It's not. It's more of a satin. Especially once you get down here, you almost get matte on the tan. It's not glossy even on the click, but it basically gets more shiny the further it goes up. whereas the night kind of keeps this consistent here. So this is kind of like what I was talking about. Oh, there's actually like a little iridescence in the clip on the day side. I don't know if you can see that. It's got some shine to it. That's kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know, but let me know what you guys think about that. It just reminded me of like a nightclub, like a club stamp with the corners. Now I know on the club stamps they don't actually intend on having the corners. If you guys know what I mean, like stamps don't include the corners on purpose. But what happens is because they want say the palm tree is the stamp, but when they stamp it on really hard, so then the like your skin flexes and the corners touch is what's actually happening there. If you guys have never thought about that, I don't know, I'm weird like that. I look at it and I'm like, huh, I wonder why that happened. And then I, figure it out. But yeah, they look good. I mean, like I said, with the day side though, that pink tan, not pink tan, the white, like I don't think the white and the tan go together well, right? And up here, this sort of the purple, orange, blue definitely goes together, but once it goes down to pink, I think this is the nicer pen in person. Like I said, via the online pics, I thought this was going to be it for me. But especially with how obvious that seam is, and I don't know if that's just how the Cerakote ended up being. But this is definitely the more cohesive of the two, the night one. Happy to have, like, my favorite to use of all theirs. Not that they're I'm not saying they're both are bad. Also, if you look at the that little thing, like that's from Paisley. It's really sore. Paisley sinking her claw in me. She tore up my thumb while we were playing one day. Well, let's just say she overshot her toy, and well, my thumb became the toy. Not recommended. Don't do that. But yeah, so I'd say this definitely, like, if you compare it to like the LT, I wear like the LTT hoodie. This is much more that vibe for sure. Now maybe kind of like this is the night vibe and this is the day vibe. Like you use this one at work, little cheerful, etc. I don't know, of course, rock them both at work. Actually I don't work any place that I would need two pens anymore. Barely need one pen. In the past, I would actually carry two because either I'd run out of ink so quickly when I was at Geek Squad, or you'd have to have other people sign. Would you give them this pen? Normally, no. You normally carry one of these nice ones, and like I wouldn't cheese out and go with like the Bic, like that far. Like I'd still have a nicer pen, or I'd have the same ink that's in these pens, so I could use it as a backup in one of these pens, because I'd write way more in back because we'd write all of our notes. That we're like you're working on the system down, and let's just say sometimes I would write paragraphs because if you're truly troubleshooting an issue, like you're gonna need some amount of notes. Let's just put it this way: like I would do stuff to the point where like I'd be off for a couple days. People would come in and be like, I don't know what to do, and I'm like, it's all right there. They're like, yeah, I didn't read all that, and I'm like, well, why would I write it all down? Holy shit, people, So with this, though, we have another box on the other side of Paisley. That is just a plain old cardboard box. And that's what we're going to be trying in these two pens. Because, it's seasonal, right? The two that you saw, these are summer. They didn't use... So these are seasonal. So these are the summer 2024 seasonal pens, the Vice day and night. So I got another 3 months. I got 3 months to run these. And you're like, you buy more pens than actually using them for 3. Yeah, in the past though, I would actually, for the longest time, I would actually run the last one was the Ember. I ran that literally straight through. So that's what I plan to do with these two. And what we're going to be doing is, because I have been hearing from people, you got to use, I think it's MUJI, M-U-J-I. Some of you might know which pens I'm talking about. You got to try it. Like, I like gelling, and Here's the thing with MUJI, though. They only sell themselves. Like, you can find them on Amazon. But here's the other thing. They aren't selling themselves on Amazon. It's like resellers and stuff, right? And they won't sell outside of their own store. So what actually happens is they're actually like fakes. This exact box basically from a and here, gel pen cap type, right? This is the 0.38. This is the one that everybody says, and you're like, cap type, that won't fit in these. Correct. Had to get some though. Like, these should be competitive to like the Hi-Tec-C. Or like the jelly roll, you know, like your classic jelly roll. This seems to me to be like a hybrid of the jelly roll, like the classic jelly roll, and not the Hi-Tec-C, because Hi-Tec-C is a needlepoint, but like I want to say like a modernized Hi-Tec-C possibly, or not a modernized, like a modernized jelly roll. Either way, these are fairly cheap, surprisingly. Oh, hold on here. Okay, so I bought the... Interesting. This is the one that everybody likes, right? Is the MUJI 0.38 gel pen cap type. 2, 3, 4. Yep. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so I have 10. You can only buy them in 10 packs. Here, 22.10, so that's 2022. So these are already 2 years old. But you can only buy them. It looks like they came through, you know, there's MUJI USA Limited, MUJI Canada Limited. These are still made in Japan, I believe. Imported. It's in French. But yeah, basically you have to buy these from MUJI. I didn't know that. So I was looking on Amazon at first, but then I noticed on Amazon they have a whole bunch of knockoffs of these. Probably because these are fairly popular pens, and people are looking for them, and they don't sell them on Amazon. Like, they only sell in their own stores. So stuff you see on Amazon is resellers. Who knows if you get the real thing or not. So I picked up some, right? And these are the ones that that everybody says to buy, is the cap type. Like, it's got, like I said, jelly roll vibe, better build quality. Like, a lot of them are like Japanese stationery pen is like how they label them off, and they're definitely made in China, and they look similar. And then there's a bunch of like probably what I would say is fake reviews. They're like, oh, I bought, even some people are claiming like, oh, I bought them on accident because I thought they were MUJI. They're probably trying to get click stuff. But some people are even claiming they're even better. That's highly unlikely that random Chinese gel pen, who knows if it's made consistently, is better than a regarded pen, you know what I mean, like, or a decently regarded pen. David was saying he thinks these are Uniball. They look very Uniball-y, but they do say MUJI 0.38, and I would say that hole on the back. Here, let's zoom in. The hole on the back here, that's much bigger than it would be on a 0.38 Uniball. You guys have seen me open those because my main pen. That's why I was interested in these. Everybody's saying try these. They came in here's the other thing. The stick type comes in 0.38, which would be my preferred. I prefer a 0.4 or like 0.38 is in Uniball the closest you can get. But I also bought, because I didn't know, that to me looks very close to a click style Uniball refill. I might be wrong. But I also bought a 6 because it was $25 for free shipping. On the sale I was on. Originally I was only going to buy a couple of these, but these are the click style MUJI. And I knew these would be compatible. Like, these are basically Uniball refills in here. Guaranteed to be. Yeah, that looks like Uniball with like a little bit thinner front on it. And these are definitely different inks. Like, this looks more like, I don't want to say a Sharpie pen, but like even manufacturing wise, this looks like a cheaper ink to me. So my plan is at work, bring a set of these, keep on my desk, like stock, right? And then also what I'm going to do is run. I didn't realize that the stick type was a click refill. Usually stick type use one like this where you screw the tip on at that short distance, and they're not click compatible. But I would almost guarantee, here we can test this with MUJI's own pen, or MUJI's own thing here. If I take this off, take this refill out, take the end of this off, take this refill out, pop this looks basically exactly like a Uniball. Uniball may even OEM it for them. Then take this, pop this on here. There's a 0.38 click tip. So interesting, but yeah, the click style MUJIs are not the one. I think MUJI is the correct way to say it. Correct me if I'm wrong down below. Also, that red, that sort of here, that red is not how Uniball does it. This is how Uniball does it exactly. So I can see why. Apparently, David Squeers there had bought one of the stick style and said, "Oh, it's basically Uniball." So, and I think it is. It might be OEM by Uniball. It's obviously not a Uniball because it says MUJI, but it says made in Japan. The other one says made in Japan as well, but it's a 0.3, not a 0.3, 0.5, 0.7 for the click type. For the stick type, they have 0.38, 0.5, 0.7, I think. So that's indicative of Uniball. Like I said, though, this back side of this is not indicative of Uniball. That is a larger hole than I would usually see when it comes to my Uniball refills that I'm used to using, which is the it's the 207 equivalent, or no, I think I used the 307 equivalent. But and you can see on this guy over here, which actually has a similar size hole, which would make sense because they're both 0.38. That means the size hole controls the flow because you have atmospheric pressure pushing on the backside, pushing that clear part of the gel down, which is then advancing the ink. But the outer part of the refill is much thicker, even though the front part looks skinnier, like it's rounded down. Now that may only look like it's rounded down and skinnier because the outer part, like whereas this looks like it's pressed over it, like this, they may have crimped this down rather than squeaking it over. But this is not indicative of a Uniball. So this, the 0.3, also Uniball doesn't generally do a 0.3, they do a 0.38, would be another brand. Now I don't remember which brand it was. You might have to go you'd have to go look back at a bunch of my videos, or maybe you guys can tell me. But one of the brands definitely uses that red. That little red speck there, that little, it's like a dot, like a little boop. So I'm going to stick this one, because that should be similar to the Uniball, into the night one. And then I'm going to stick the 0.3 into the day one. And then we'll see which one I like better. I have a feeling, I may be a bit biased, but that's why the night one is getting the one that looks very similar to Uniball. It's also very weird that they're using a click style refill in a stick pen. But if this is Uniball, that would explain why people really like writing with it. Because if you're wondering, the cellulose-based Uniball, like the 207 is fairly popular in the US. And then there's the 307, I believe, which is the light fast. Both of those write very well. Then they have the Uniball 1. So I think this would be more comparable to the Uniball 1 because this is water-based. So it'd be comparable to... They have a couple water-based inks. I forget what they all are. I know the Uniball 1 is the newer one. Newer one. Tee-hee-hee. But like that stubby click pen I have is a Uniball 1. I think they had another like style previously as well. But we'll see how this writes. I think it was like $10 or something for 10 of them. They're like a bit over $1 a pop for these. As long as you don't have to pay shipping. You know what I mean? And I bought 10 of them. Like I said, I'm going to keep one of these stock at my desk. Now, these don't have the labels, which is kind of weird. Probably because I'm buying them in the pack. It's got the box. But if you're running a lot of the knockoffs, because traditionally the MUJI pens have this label on it. Right here. Let's zoom on in. So if you're wondering, you can let's zoom in another. Boom, boom, 5x. There you go. Like, so this MUJI label is also usually on the stick style as well, kind of, you know, down here. Especially when you buy them in like a pack of 5 or something like that, rather than the full box of 10. So if you're wondering, the fake ones that are on Amazon also even replicate this label, and they'll say Fuji or something like that instead of MUJI. Same tone, same brown text, same off-white color, you know, like so they get the same look in the image that people are expecting from the MUJI pen, where like all those are lined up, and if it's got the box in the photo, like they're all lined up in the box. They're like, that's the sort of stuff where Amazon needs to crack down, because they're very clearly making and selling a knockoff. And when you search a MUJI pen, the first thing that comes up is not the actual MUJI pen, because it can't. You know, it's like this, like that pops up, like that, you know, like that, but it doesn't say MUJI, it says Fuji or something like that. Same thing with these. Now, it looks like they have, at least when you buy the 10-pack, no more labels, like no more brown stickers on there. Let me know what you guys think about that, because that is like a defining characteristic. I think most people pull them off because it's a nice smooth body. One thing I will say too, though, is if you put the cap on the end, very easy to unscrew. I did that a couple times already. You know, when I was doing that, like I said, though, very interesting that they're using a click style, because normally what they would do is they would use a stick style, because then they can make the pen shorter, or because normally, you know, like the metal tip only starts here. This is for the spring. So if you're like Hi-Tec-C, right, you can use this much space. You'd have that much more ink, right? And if you have that much more ink this far forward, you can make it that much shorter if you want to. Now, Hi-Tec-C actually even is a wider cartridge. You know, like, so I think it might even be even longer too, but that's normally what they do, is like, you wouldn't waste this tip here like they're doing here with this spacer, because it's a click style refill in there. Now, I think this is a good length, maybe a little bit long once you put the cap on it. I don't have a Hi-Tec-C on hand, I don't think, to compare, but it feels a little, like a hair shorter than that. Very close to like a jelly roll style, which is a very classic. Sakura is the ones that make that, so you might have seen me use Sakura refills before. Sakura makes the jelly roll. So yeah, probably spent more time on the MUJI pens than I did the Vice, the Vice from Tactile Turn. But yeah, if you guys have any comments on, like, hey, if you know, like, oh, has anybody actually tested the MUJI pen? Because like the stick style looks like that. I'd be surprised. I would not be surprised if somebody told me it was a Uniball. You know, David was saying, oh, I think that looked exactly like a Uniball. I'm like, are you sure the stick style? Because there's a G2. Ugh. I was like, and I'm not gonna cut this down because I wanna run them stock before I you know, like, do my mods and stuff like that. Okay, so here's the next question. Okay, well, let's get this tightened down first. So this is the night one. With the night one, I went with the stick style, and look at that, it perfectly fits. So, like I said, it looked very much like a Uniball. Let's see, does the G2 fit into the MUJI pen? Seems to. That fits in there. That fits in there. Whoa. I think the tip's too thick. Yep. Oh, hey. Oh, God. Oh, God. I took the tip off the Hi-Tec-C. Or not the Hi-Tec-C. Well, you guys are wondering, here's why you don't jam things and other things. Not that I care because it's G2. I might give those to Shane, though. But yeah, it pulled the metal tip right off the G2. So that's... I got ink everywhere now. I also managed to pull that insert out of the stick pen. That was like I was trying to see if I could fit a G2 or a G2 in there, because then I give it to Shane as another option for his, because he's got like 20 million G2 inks. Yeah, that's installed in the night one. Let's do the day one now, and hopefully not have as catastrophic a mess up on my part and waste a G2 refill. I'm not gonna, well, actually, to be truthful, I will probably try and shove it in here. Alright, so, yeah, I don't know who makes this. Is this maybe like an Energel refill? That's what it kind of reminds me of. I think those are even skinnier, though. They normally don't have this thick body. If you guys know, I mean, it may even be the fact that the MUJI isn't made by Uniball. I haven't done any research. I just heard good things about it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try a new ink. And yeah, that's not gonna work. Nope. Well, I'll keep this basically for the spring. Looks like that's a double helix, or there you go. There you go. See, it's a double step spring. Alright. That's kind of interesting. Oh, that's why it's not working. On the G2, it has to go over the second step. But remember, on the Uniball and whatever this other refill style of MUJI is, it's just kind of like one, like, it's skinnier, basically. It's longer, but it's skinnier. Just now what I do is I just end up keeping these as is, so I know what they come from. Actually, David may know. If I take that picture, he may know what brand uses that other kind of spring here, offhand. Because I think he had one the other day. Small issue though. The camera I need to take that picture is you guys. You're in the phone. Yeah, I plan to take, you know, we'll see how these go in these two pens. Let me know what you think about the Tactile Turn Vice. You know, the day side is apart there, and here's the night one again. And have you guys had any experience with the MUJI refills? Like I said, I've heard really amazing things, or read really amazing things about the stick style. And I was worried I'd have to use them as a stick pen, but if it's a really good pen, I use the Hi-Tec-C still that way. You know, but then it turns out it is actually a click style refill in there. So this knock type, which is click type, were unneeded. Did not know that. But it's interesting because this seems to be, like I said, I've seen this construction before as well. So, I mean, MUJI is like, they sell all this sorts of stuff for your home. I'm trying to remember I was in like the convenience store that sells like really cheap items. They seem to be kind of like that, but maybe a little bit higher end, but like just a lot of like random home goods. So the fact that, like, I know a lot of people like Office Maxes. Now, yeah, you think Office Supply, blah blah. They better make good pens, but I mean, like, not necessarily. Like the U.S., like Japan makes a lot of U.S. pens for the U.S. market that are just like the G2. You know, here, this. People in America love this thing. It's like fine. If you're like, oh, would you like a Bic or this? This, I guess. But especially because a lot of these I get are in 0.7. Well, we'll leave it at that. Let me know. What do you guys think about the MUJI? Like, go look on Amazon. I think I've shared it on Twitter. It's like, look at all these fake ones. Here's the real one, and the fake ones, like the names are, they purposely, it's like Fuji, and they make them even like space the same size, like when it's on the packaging, so it looks the same. They make the same sticker, like I'd rather have it the other way. Like, don't knock it off like looks wise. You know what I mean? Like, because they're preying on people who can't get these because they don't. The only way they sell is through their official store. You can buy some on Amazon that are like shipped from overseas. They're gonna be resellers and stuff. But if you want to buy it from like an official seller, or you'll never find them from Amazon.com or whatever. You know what I mean? And I'm guessing that's only been more recently since some of those third-party sellers on there. Because why would all these other brands otherwise like knock them off? And if you're running, they're not a ton cheaper. Like, say if on Amazon, this box is like $16, like for the real ones, right? The fake ones are $13. Now, it probably costs them way less to fake them than it costs Uniball to make them. But like, what they're counting on is that people see the same image and like similar naming, and then they buy the cheaper one. That's what they're counting on. But that's the sort of shit Amazon shouldn't allow, in my opinion. Yeah. Let me know your thoughts on that down below. See you in the next one. Peace.